You are listening to Brand Me, Alex Merced, with me, Alex Merced. On this show, we'll be talking about the ins and outs of branding and how to empower yourself by defining yourself. We'll talk about the tools, the methods, the strategies, so that way you can take a brand to achieve your goals in your personal life, your professional life, in all of your life. If you need help implementing these ideas and using these tools to achieve your goals, contact Alex Merced to be your branding coach by heading over to mercedbranding.com. Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced and you're listening to another episode of Brand Me, Alex Merced, over there on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and Spotify. Now, this week we're going to explore another social media platform because there's so many. So we have a lot to talk about in this. So this week we're going to be talking about Twitter. Now, Twitter is very valuable in many regards. Not my favorite place to buy ads, just in my experience with buying ads, is because it's such a sort of not very detailed, like you don't give it much information about you kind of platform, makes it kind of hard for targeting. So when we get to talking more about advertising, I'll kind of talk about the benefits, the pros and cons of different paying for advertising in different platforms. But Twitter has a great value in other regards, and it's one of those must social networks, mainly because that's where the media hangs out. Most journalists may not necessarily have Facebook or Instagram. They'll oftentimes only have a public-facing Twitter. So, and then that's generally how they kind of monitor things that they're going to cover for media purposes. So in that case, if you are looking to get covered by the media, to be in a newspaper, to be in a magazine, to be in the news TV, you're really going to want to be on Twitter because you can actually engage with journalists here and whatnot. Especially journalists who may be in the field that you are. So in this case, let's say a physics journalist, using our example of the theoretical physics public speaker from Texas that we've been using on all these episodes. So Twitter's very simple. Basically, you're allowed to have a very small text amount of text. It used to be 140 characters. I think they doubled it, so I think now it's 280 characters you can have per post. You are allowed to include a image or a video up to 1 minute and 40 seconds. So that's very cool. But basically, that means you have... What I love about Twitter is that it forces you to think about what your message is, because since you have such limited space, you have to figure out what you want to say and think critically, how can I condense what I want to say in a small bit? And this is going to make you a better marketing messenger because you have to learn how to say stuff quick. And what I do is initially when I'm trying to get build up a Twitter page, I'll start out once again just kind of like Instagram. You got to do some research on the hashtags. Who are the people with all the follows in your particular area? What are they interested in? Who do they generally respond to? Basically assess their pages because you're going to want to take advantage of their existing audience to build your audience. But first step I would do is one of the easiest ways to get kind of a nice content flow going is quotes. Okay, so in this case, if we're talking about physics, I would maybe sit there and post a quote from Einstein on a daily basis with the right hashtags that are relative to your audience. So again, you have to do the research on your audience on the platform. And that's always a good way because people like to what's called retweet, which means they're going to repost your content and people will see that it's you. So if they like what you posted, they can like you. They can, well, in this case, follow you on Twitter. So that's always a good way to kind of start building up the content. Also kind of engaging with other people's tweets, because then you get in the middle of a conversation and people a lot of times will follow each other because of the engagement they have in a Twitter conversation. Because Twitter really is, it's like a big public conversation. And it can seem a little chaotic at sometimes, but if you engage, you will build up followers quickly. So follow people who are relative to what the brand message you are getting out there, relative to the audience you're trying to build, and respond to their tweets. So when they tweet something, respond to it. Because then what's going to happen is that they may respond to you, and that's going to highlight your tweet to their audience. Other people in their audience may respond to you, and then basically other people from their Twitter feed, because when they respond to you, everyone and they follow will see it, and it just kind of feeds on itself. So Twitter is really about being part of the conversation. If you're just broadcasting stuff to your Twitter feed that doesn't really ask for a response, you're not going to get quite the same exposure because people aren't responding and they aren't retweeting or reposting as much. So that's definitely something you want to make sure you do. The more people interact or engage in that, people can like heart your post, and that definitely will help your post become visible if you have a high amount of followers. But to build up those followers, what you really want are the retweets and the replies, because that means their followers will see the conversation, and that's kind of how you're going to build up your feed. But if the conversation isn't about something relative to what you're trying to do, what your goals are, you're going to build up the wrong audience, and your messages are going to fall flat. Okay, so in this case, if we're talking about that physics person in Texas, I would go find other physics people on Twitter and just start engaging in the conversation. Now, another feature I haven't talked much about that's going to be on Twitter, on Instagram, and on Facebook is live streaming. And everyone's really trying to promote live streaming at the moment, and it's fun because basically with live streaming you can broadcast live to your audience, and then they can respond, ask questions, engage with you real time. So Twitter does this. They purchased a company by the name of Periscope a few years ago, and that built in those features. So technically, when you are live streaming on your Twitter account, you're also using the social network Periscope. So you technically have two accounts and you don't realize it. Kind of like your Facebook account oftentimes is initially your Instagram account. So you don't necessarily have to have all these different accounts. But live streaming oftentimes gets a lot of engagement. Oftentimes it gets prioritized in Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter feeds because it's happening now. They push it to the top because they want people to see it when it's happening, because that's kind of the selling point of a live stream. But you don't want to just be live streaming for the sake of live streaming. And you want to kind of give people a heads up when you're going to live stream. So oftentimes you want to take some time saying, hey, we're going to do this live stream on Friday at 8, and we're going to talk about this topic that you may care about. Or I want to be speaking at this event, and it's going to be live streamed, so make sure you catch it live. Also really popular for live stream is something called an Ask Me Anything, AMAs. Now, AMAs started out really as a thing on Reddit. Now, Reddit's a whole different social network, which has nothing to do really with video. It's more like you post an article and people can dislike, and comment on it. And you would do an Ask Me Anything, and people would comment with their questions. But people started just kind of embracing this whole Ask Me Anything concept onto all social networks. And it's oftentimes a very popular way to engage your audience once you built up your audience. So again, first, you really need to be part of that conversation to build up your initial followers. But an Ask Me Anything is always a really good event to engage your audience as you build it. At the same time, that also helps you kind of know what they care about, and by seeing what their questions are, you kind of know how to design your content going forward. So you'll answer the questions there, but not everyone's going to have seen that Ask Me Anything after the fact. But now you have this whole list of stuff you've already discussed that you already know kind of what they're interested in, and you can kind of use that to inform your content going forward. So every once in a while, just posting, whether it's a live stream or it's just a photo that says Ask Me Anything, it's a good way, one, to engage, and two, get ideas for future content. So that's pretty much Twitter. Twitter's pretty basic. Just engage with people, figure out who are the people you care to engage with, who shares your audience, and engage. There's not really much fancy stuff. There's not like groups. There's no stories feature. It's just basically you can tweet, and you can live stream, and you can post videos up to 140 seconds, and that's pretty much all you can do. So it's just about engaging with people so they see your content and creating content that keeps people engaged, and you will be successful on Twitter. So this is Alex Merced from Brand Me Alex Merced. Again, you can always reach out to me if you need some hands-on coaching over there at mercedbranding.com. Also make sure to follow the YouTube channel. So all these episodes are also being posted on YouTube. They're being posted on the Facebook page at facebook.com/mercedbranding, and follow me on Twitter at brandingmerced. So you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you for listening to Brand Me, Alex Merced on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Make sure to like Alex Merced on Facebook, on Twitter, and head over to mercedbranding.com to find us on social media and find other useful advice and resources in marketing and achieving your goals.